computer, lights.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Thursday. Make sure my microphone's in the right spot. All right. It is a beautiful Thursday, a beautiful day. So we're going to work a little bit today on more graphics and things like that to be set up. It takes a lot to set up my comics for production, and because I put a lot of work in my 3D models so that as I produce my comic down the road, I don't have to redo the sets and things like that. So we're going to do a little bit of work on this. We're going to open a few things here. We're going to go to sleep. We'd done some 3D resources with this, and we did some computer things. Not you. And we had done the work. I'm going to use these existing panels for other things. That way we don't have to keep using we don't have to make new models. So here we go. Switch over to the monitor. We're waiting for Clip Studio to come back from its torpor. There we go. All right. And this was a console for the bedroom that we had when we were building our bedroom. And this was the final console that we liked. We thought it was cool. It worked just fine. We're going to use this same console, but instead of this, we're going to make this into a cockpit console. So there are, I kind of like that. I'm thinking about this with that, kind of thinking we should make our own consoles for this. I don't wanna. But the more I think about it, the more I think we should. Because, so there is, on the Kittiwake, there's the pilot house, which is up front. And then there's the bridge, which is in the middle of the ship. And the pilot house is where our character Mayrel works. She sits up front and she pilots the ship. So it's got to have two control joysticks or a throttle and a joystick or something. And then she's got physical switches, and there's a reason for that. When a ship is in hyperspace, the in space that we call that, when it's in that null space there, computers don't work. So you have to physically throw switches to connect wires to things to make the ship do the things. And you literally steer it, So we have sort of this setup where it's kind of manual, right? Which is why if you look at this console, there are these little guys right here. These are all displays that say a thing, one thing, so that whenever you're in space and the holograms all go and they turn off and the computers turn off, we can actually go through and you could do stuff with your ship. You can push a button and make the lights turn on or whatever, because you can't just walk in and say lights and have everything turn on, So that's what we're working on. I feel like, though, we might actually be able to use a different thing. Let's try the countertop that we had. That this shouldn't be so hard. What's going on here, guys? Let's see what my monitor says. Chrome is using up 23% of my, and there is no other Chrome up except for this, correct? There is other stuff. Let's take that one. Does that help? Got a lot of instances of Chrome going on here. Why do I have so many instances of Chrome? I can get this guy, but I only have one. Steam. Steam's running. You always run games. You just want to run games, and sometimes you want to run games. But let's kill Steam so that we don't have to worry about that. Exit. That helps us a lot right there. Let's see who else is running. We have email. Let's run email and make sure it is okay. Make sure I don't have any emails prior to the show, so we will close that. Everything's closed. Now, let's open, and let's try the countertop, right? We had done the countertop before. But what would be interesting is if this countertop was what we used for control panels. It's got a little bit of a divot, so you can have sort of a get in, sit down sort of thing, and then just have a big countertop full of controls. But even this, I'm kind of feeling like isn't going to cut it. Because I feel like no matter what console in front of you, maybe at an angle? I don't know. Maybe we could do this with this at sort of an angle. Like, you know what? I'm an artist. Let's sketch this out. Let's look at what we want to deal with here. What do we want to deal with? All right. So let's do a sketch. We know that when we're dealing with what is going on. Did it just crash? It did. We just crashed Clip Studio Paint. What the heck is going on? All right. So I want to kind of think about how we want the pilot house to look, right? From the back, we're looking at the front, right? And here are the front nose windows, whatever you want to call them, right? As I recall, they're like this. The nose windows sit sort of triangular. Like so. And I feel like we've got two seats on either side. We've got sort of a duplicate seat here. I'm getting kind of fed up with that. Something is really not working here, guys. Okay. Have one seat sort of sits like this, has a console kind of going off to one side. We'll have another seat that sits like this and also has a console going off to one side. I still want sort of the concept here of being able to walk into the front of this particular room and stand right here if you wanted to. Right? Because then you could look out the front windows and see all the, I don't know, wonderful vista. I have no idea. I figured that's probably the place where you'll walk to look out and go, well, tactically speaking, they could bombard this planet from here. You know. So, kind of looking at this room and this space, we're going to have a console which sits kind of like this, and then a side console which sits maybe even sticking out a little bit like this, and this console here like this. I really like the idea of an overhead console, maybe like so. We're doing it again. That's 2 cycles that we're having this problem with. I'm going to bring up our performance. The C drive's getting hammered again. What the heck is going on? Is this cloud? Hey, look at that. Wow. It's the blue line that I'm really looking at here. For what? What is it on standby for? Oh, man. Welcome to my world, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my world. I have a super hot computer that it only took 1 year for it to become so bogged down with programs that are constantly running and jockeying that my super hot computer is now less operable than like my 486. That's fine. Okay, so I'm looking at a panel like this. It goes up and over, and then a panel to the right, and then a control stick here. That's what I'm looking for. All right. And I could probably just model this as one unit right here and just everything like that exactly as it is. Maybe I should put a small panel here, which would ultimately have a joystick for controlling the ship. And I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to build that. So let's build that, okay? I'm going to make a new folder called Sets. And here I'm going to call this here, name JPEG. No problems. Man, I'm having a lot of problems. So there once was a time where we could run all of these things at the same time. I noticed that. I remember that time. Now, just saving this is taking up all of my processor. I don't get it. Something's definitely not working. I have no idea why 2 gigs is on standby, memory that contains cached data and code that is not actively in use. We're going to kill all of that for right now. That should leave nothing, but I'll even kill Word. I can't imagine MS Word being a problem. It's not exactly what I'd call a heavy hitter. That leaves really pretty much just the show here running, which is, I can imagine this being a pain in the butt, but I can't imagine it that much. Let's open a Blender. We're still waiting for Blender to open. Wow. Crash handlers are running. getting we're getting a lot of. It is taking a very, very long time to do things. Something is eating up all of my memory, and I'm not sure what's going on. But I've got, if you look at my resource monitor, this is what I'm not understanding. Standby memory. All of this is just like there's 20 gigs that's being just locked up on memory. I'm not sure what that means. But it's clearly causing issues because I'm now at, nothing's erroring out, but we are 22 minutes into the show, and I'm just now getting Blender running. You know what I mean? It's like everything is taking ridiculously long to do, and I've got nothing running right now, nothing at all. I even just closed a Word doc that was open. And I mean, like, so there hasn't been a restart recently, as in this week. But I mean, generally, I don't restart my machine for multiple reasons. One, I'm old school, and spinning up and spinning down hard drives takes a lot of toll on the hard drives, as opposed to just leaving them running, which may not be true of modern hard drives. But two, no matter what, and I work really hard to keep my startup clean, it's still 10, 15 minutes before it's done loading everything and putting everything into the memory and stuff like that. So it's not exactly a prompt start. So I could start it in the morning first thing, but it's not a prompt start. Yeah. I mean, I do restart my PC periodically. But it's just like, I don't know. Anyway, it's the real reason I don't restart my PC is it takes probably 5 minutes to get through to the point where the mouse shows up, and then it takes another 5 to 10 minutes before it's done doing all the background crap. So you don't just walk in here and hit go on the PC and then start working. You come in here and you hit go on the PC, and then you go get coffee and talk to somebody for 2 hours, because it takes a long time to get to a start system. It just and it's always been that. Even when I first, I don't. The SSD cost. So this machine cost me almost $800, and I had about $800 when I bought it. And the SSD would have pushed it to 1,000, and I didn't have 1,000. So no, I couldn't afford to make my C drive an SSD. And so that's part of it, is that, and that's exactly what the computer guys said, was make your OS on an SSD. But since I have now installed Windows on this SSD, I'm going to have to buy an SSD and another copy of Windows. So anyway, the long and the short of it is that I don't restart generally because it takes so long to start up now that it's just ridiculous. And it's Windows caching, which is causing me the biggest problem. I think actually the thing that is killing me is OneDrive. I have a OneDrive, I have a Google Drive, and I have a Dropbox. And now I am at this moment paying, oh, well, that's good. That's good to know. I have the key right up here. So, but I'm paying for professional copies of all three of those. And I think what's happening is it's indexing. Because if you look at my C drive on the resource monitor, you can see the blue line. It is pegged. It is pegged. And it's always pegged. It is always, always, always pegged. And on here is always OneDrive. And I think what's happening is it's indexing OneDrive. And I think that's what's going on. And I keep trying to get it to stop indexing OneDrive. But then I have to go find a picture that was taken in 2001 of my dad. And it's somewhere in the massive clump of pictures that is, I have terabytes of family pictures now going all the way back into the 1800s. I'm the person in the family that holds all of that. So, and I love that job. It's my favorite thing to do. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but the problem we're having here is that I think that we are making my poor computer completely insane. What I think is happening here. So I believe that's what's going on, is that my computer has gone insane. Well, that's good. That was one of those back in the day moments where they were really into the idea of that's part of this. Is I am not, nor have I been. I mean, I have not been into computers in a long time. Right? I mean, I want to do art. I really. No, I don't need you to do that. Sorry. Go back to 0. I gotta remember my commands because every command is different. That's the command. I just have not been that big on. Yeah, let's do that. Let's stop at sync. Let's see if that gives me some help over here. It's taking a long time to bring it up. Yeah. Let's pause syncing for 2 hours. There we go. Let's see if that brings it down. And I don't think it will, because it's indexing. It's not. Something else is still writing a lot on that disk. Because I just paused it syncing. So OneDrive shouldn't be syncing anymore. What are you syncing about? However, there it is. So I paused it. Oh, well. It's all right. We're getting work done ish. So today, we're going to be building the control console for the pilot house, which is really what we're doing. Okay, so we're going to take this guy here. We're going to move. No. We're going to go into naked mode. Wow. Like, it's got to think to go into naked mode. Okay, so one of the other things that worries me is this. About 3 months ago, 4 months ago, I bought one stick of 32 gigs. And the idea behind buying one stick of 32 gigs was that I misunderstood the setup of the inside of this guy here. The fan is huge and it sits on top of the processor fan. It's huge. It's a great fan. So I misunderstood. It covers some of um, the RAM ports. I misunderstood that to be that it covers all of the RAM ports but one, and it does not. It actually just covers slot 4. So I bought one stick of RAM, thinking that I only had one port to do 32 gigs on. I actually thought I had um, 2 ports, and that the other one needed to be balanced. So I know that I'm already kind of running funky because I'm trying desperately to get RAM to go through one bus. And I've been waiting to save up enough money to be able to buy another 32 so I can put it in 1 and 3. Because I can put it in 1 and 3. Now, the question I've got for you is, can I put it in 1 and 2? Or do I have to put it in 1 and 3? Because we actually may have some money here in a bit that I could use for purposes of RAM, depending on, it's becoming somewhat critical here. So it's entirely plausible. This is not an unreasonable request. So that is my question du jour. I feel kind of like every time you and I talk, Brent, you're kind of like, how do you do this? I think in this instance, the motherboard. So the good news is I actually have just a little computer company down the road that I usually work with, and they've got all of that stuff tracked, and so but I'll make sure that I'm using the same one. I can actually get to 1 and 3. I thought I couldn't get to 1 and 3, and so that was why I was putting only one stick in, was because I thought I thought slot 3 and 4 were covered by the fan, so you couldn't get a chip in there. But it's not. It's just covering slot 4. So there's nothing I can do about 2 and 4. They're lost. And I know that 2 and 4 are kind of a lost cause. I get that. It's fine. I'll live. Um, Right. That'll be the show. Fix my computer with Brent. Messages from Brent. The messages are, what did you do to your computer today? It's generally messages from Brent. Oh, man. I think somewhere you'll just take away my computer license. Okay, you can't have a computer anymore. You can't. I'm sorry. You can't. You just can't. You're not allowed. Get back to drawing on you. You have a big desk, just desk. It will. It totally will. Well, no. No, it won't. Nope. Nope. Where's my auxiliary camera? Here. Allow me to illustrate. This could be fun. No, wait, this is going to be great. Let's see here. Double cameras. Nope. At the desk. Nope. Nope. Where is the camera? 2 screens. Hey! When will then be now? Okay, I'm done. No, no. I think I need to do this guy. And then see if this guy's even plugged in. I don't even know if this guy's plugged in. He may not be, but we'll get it plugged in. That won't help us any, will it now? Messages from Brent. Okay. It's plugged in here. There we go. Now, if I take out the ring camera, put it down here. Work. Let me see. Desk camera. We don't need a monitor. I want it out of here. Man, this shouldn't take so long. But it does. Fine. Desk camera. Turn it off too. Add a video source. This is going to be fun. No, wait, this is going to be fun. Add a video capture device. Because the Logitech should still be working. Maybe it is something going on with my USB ports. I can't imagine that. Okay, Logitech. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now it's time for us to say, here is where we are. You know what? Yes. We're all going to get seasick on this. Sorry. unbolting the case screws. Now I will give you a tour on my computer. But you can see we're very tight right here. We could probably get to that slot, but it'd be very difficult. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's very tight right there. And it's plausible we could get to it. I don't know. But yes, I have exactly one stick of memory. Yeah, once it's installed, maybe. It'd just be one of those, this thing's going to have to come off in order to put it in there. I do like the multicolor fan. That's one of my favorite parts of this, is the multicolor fan. It's even cooler if you look at it through here, through this fan, because you get kind of a double fan effect. You look kind of like at this part right here. It starts being kind of double fanny. Double fanny. Anyway. Wait, what's an AIO? I feel like I should do the "We are going to die." Okay, so wow. So here's me looking at me, looking at me, looking at me, all in one a water cooler. You want to be more specific, or should I just start squirting? So I know I've got pipes that are on my G-force, right? I can see those pipes. So clearly there's some water cooling going on my G-force. I can see underneath my G-force there. Look at that. Look at those fans. Yeah. Then I had to get an extra USB board because, frankly, we used 7.6 trillion USB ports. There we go. Okay, well, there's you guys. Wow. Wow. That's an old joke. Okay. That was fun. Put the door back on. Because if nothing else, we need to keep the dust out of this guy. Okay. And I can tell that we have just kicked up a ton of dust because I'm allergic to dust, and my nose is running a lot. There. All right. That's a lot of dust. Woo. Whew. Okay, I'm back to normal, sort of. Get back to work. Now I'm kind of looking at this here. This is the control console that we're going to have for the pilot house. So we're going to select this guy, extrude forward here and here. The idea behind this is that these guys will go down like this. Okay. Now we don't want to obstruct vision any more than we absolutely have to if we think about where these pilots are. So the more that we can kind of pull open areas so that they can see but still have a control console, the better. So this is the upper control console. And actually, I'm pulling it back and I should be putting it forward. So we're going to do this. And this will be forward and down. So from this seated location, you'll have actually, now that I think about it, the more I kind of think I want this more like so. So if you're sitting in the console, it's here. It's like this. And that's more of what we're after on this one. Right. And the real reason that I like an upper console like that is when you have a pilot and they're flying along, it looks cool. And this is what I call the Alan Tudyk effect. Alan Tudyk played Wash on Firefly. And he had 3 switches that were up here on this upper console, which he called those his business switches. Anytime somebody said, Wash, I want you to do a thing, he'd go, aye, sir, click, click, click. And it made him look like he was doing a thing, you know. He never really reached forward to these forward consoles as much as he did those 3 buttons up there. So I call this the Alan Tudyk effect. I want an upper console so that you can have the pilot get into the seat and she can go click, 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 click. And it looks like she's doing things. You know, she's making it work, getting the ship going. So that's the Tudyk console up here. We'll even call that the Tudyk console. So we got the Tudyk console up at the top. I can actually probably bring it forward a little bit more. And down. It just is being helpful to be up. There's no need to put anything back here because there's nothing back here. This console on the side, the left side, is the autopilot and controls of some sort like that. So we'll move this forward to here. You can just make it straight. There we go. There. Now, we now have this console, which we want to deal with, the forward console array. So we're going to take this guy and turn him this way. That's probably not the world's best way of dealing with this. Let's do it this way. So we'll take this guy here and we will tilt him this way. And we'll take these 2 and move this forward like so. And now we have this guy kind of going for him this way. All right. Then we're going to extrude. Extrude. How extrude? Move this guy to here. And we'll take these guys and move them here because now we are on the forward helm console. Right now I went down. So we're going to have to fix all of these guys so that they're not going down. Because we actually do not want down. We want up. Look at me screw it all up. Okay. There we go. We're just leveling this guy out like so. There we go. There we go. So this guy's rounding a 90-degree turn, which makes this hard. There we go. 90-degree turn. There. Nope. See, now you just set fire to it again. There we go. Close, but no banana. All right. Probably could have gone a whole lot easier if I just done a right-hand turn, but that's okay. We'll do this. Make sure that you are legit, like right here and right here, because this console leans out. There we go. There we go. Now, always something. Pepper? Where are you, Pepper? I don't see Pepper. I don't see him over here in my studio line-in. I see you saying, hey, Pepper, but I don't see Pepper. Hope you're feeling okay, Pepper. Hope you're there. We might see Pepper tomorrow, or we might not. He's a Schrodinger Pepper right now. Schrodinger's Pepper. I'll do that. And we'll do this. Oh. Schrodinger's Pepper. Could be here or not here. We don't know. Yep. I'm hoping Pepper's feeling better. Hoping Pepper is doing good because worried about Pepper. Not a first time I have been worried about Pepper. Okay, this is the forward arm for the console, and we will do the console next. So the console then comes out of here, goes this way. I should make an adjustment to make it larger. Make that way. Look at that. Oh, God. Okay. Line that console up. Okay, there's that. Now we're going to make sure that all the points are completely lined up here. Next thing I want to do, the real reason is because we're going to drop this down into a point where it's completely flat. Because this console is the forward, I guess you could call it a helm, if you will, but it's really not. We're going to start with it flat, and then once we do, we can then decide what we're going to do with it. So it's angled like this. So if you're in the cockpit chair, this is what you're seeing. Up here, we've got this upper console. Right here, we've got our forward console. Pepper, you missed me taking the auxiliary camera and shoving it into my computer. That was pretty cool. So that Brent could look at like the layout of the inside of my computer. It was like I had the secondary camera and I just like doodled it around and drove it through my computer. You totally missed that part. So, highlight of the show. Okay, we are going to take this piece. No, yes, that piece. We're going to extend it forward and down because it's actually really kind of like the idea of this being sort of here-ish. But if we think about the way that we want this to be, we want it to be open to one side so we can see to the left, right? And maybe that's what we need too, is tiny bit break, yeah. So now that's more like what we're dealing with. I'll make that line up with that. This is so you won't bonk your head getting in. Bonk. Ow. Right. Okay, you know what the rules are. We gotta stand up and we gotta stretch. Oh my goodness. Goodness. Stretch. We'll go for a little walk. Oof. go over here. And we'll look outside importantly. I have to look importantly. Yeah. We'll come back over here. Okay. Whew. Shake everything out. All right. Are we doing good? We doing good? All right. Make sure everything is okay. Now it's time to get back to work. There we go. Lights are back to normal. All right, so looking at where we are on this, we've got the upper console so that we can have the infamous Tudic switches. Move this down just a hair. Really kind of want this to be square from that point of view. Move this down so that it too is square to this position right there. So we'll have our Tudic switches there. That puts this console in kind of a weird spot, but that's okay. Let's make sure that history doesn't forget the name Enterprise. Wait, what? What? So this console we're going to make straight on flat as well. We can work from this position, but I want to start from the position that it's flat to the pilot. Because now we can assess this entire angle, right? Like move it this way to give it the correct actual angle, the correct working angle, which should be there. Right, that's the correct working angle for this. I'm going to move this guy in. Right, now we're looking at half the cockpit with large windows forward, which aren't part of the issue here. It's not part of the set. I'm going to go on ahead and load at some point in time the actual model, and then we will put that as a piece of the set in there as well. Then we'll put in just the normal brake chair in here for this. But that's another thing. We've got to kind of put like foot pedals down there at the bottom because she'll need foot pedals to control the ship too. There we go. I don't know if I want this to be that high because from this point of view, I kind of want it to be out of my eye range so I can see out this window really well, which makes this guy too high up and too high over. So from here, where I'm looking out the cockpit, I'm looking at just things that are at eye level or above. This is a console I need. This is a console I need. But the truth is I might be here, right? So this console really needs to be most of my controls that are important. And when I say important, kind of thinking along the lines of, this guy here might come this way, but might also go down. We're thinking somewhat ergonomically here, right? I'm in my control console here. I'm going to throw switches up here on the Tudic panel. Got the main controls here. Kind of trying to work that situation, right? Okay. I think what I really want to also do is this. We're going to take this guy and move him this way. Someday I hope Alan Tudyk sees my videos and says, "Huh, he named a panel after me. That's cool." He might go, "What? He named a panel after me?" And I'd be like, "Woo." You're like all mad at me. I made Alan Tudyk mad. No, that's not good. That's actually bad. Okay. Let's say I had a feeling this was all going to go wonked. That's all right. We'll get there. We'll move this panel down to here. And what we're going to have is, looks like pretty good flight controls over here like this. I kind of like this kind of cantered angle a little bit there. It looks kind of cool. Kind of stick it out a little bit that way. But the rest of it has to be flat to the console. So let's go on ahead and zoom in a little bit here. Let's get all of these. All these things are like all screwed up. Oh God. Okay. No, just you. There we go. So the back of the console is flat. I don't even know where everything is up here. Move that back to the back of the console too. There we go. Now that looks pretty kind of cool in its own way. What would be cooler is if we did something like this. Right? Because then we'd have kind of this thing that sort of stands out, which I think is cool. Hey, guy, what are you doing this all for? I'm doing this to be cool. Now, let's be realistic here. What are most sci-fi stuff? It's always just cool. It's just to be cool. We know it. I admit it. This is the center widget for telling what widgety stuff you need to widget. It's literally its technical term. Could be like the astrogator on Star Trek. It's the center console of, oh crap, no really, pay attention to this thing. There we go. So center console, oh crap, pay attention to this thing. It's a technical term, thing. It's like Sing Sing, except not a prison. There we go. Make that a little less stressy. A little bit more rakish. There we go. Look at that. Now we have upper console, lower console. Now we're cooking with Mozilla. I feel like also this forward console assembly needs to come back. So like right here. Let's look here. We've got, so let's take a quick look at just how this will work. Okay, so first, why don't we save? Doesn't that sound like a good idea, people? Sets, Pilot House. It's Pilot House console.blend. Right. Save as. So this is now the Pilot House console.blend. I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, take this and we'll print screen it, which we just did. Okay. I'm going to risk starting Clip Studio, hoping that sticking my camera in the computer has made a difference on how much memory everything takes up. I'm banking on having the IT professional walk in. Totally what I'm banking on here. New. Right, so we'll do this. And now what we will do is we'll do some ergonomic checks on this. Okay, so here we go. There is no object to transform. You are an idiot. All right. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about how this works. We know we're going to need to have somebody's head right about there looking this way. Right now, the shoulder, the back, the butt, the legs, right? A leg there. So we're going to be putting the body more like this. All right. This is really what we want right here. So we're going to want the ability to put one hand up here and forward here. Right? This is an important thing, being able to hit these console pieces and these console pieces. But it also means pretty much everything past there is useless. Right? So we could probably cut most of that out. Because what we're going to need is the pilot chair like this. So the only usable console spaces we've got are this console right here, a small console right here, maybe something here, this console, and this console. That's consoling. I'll be here all week. Try the pot roast. Okay. So I'm going to push all of this back, having looked at sort of the rough design here. We now know we can do this, right? Like all the way back to here. Wah, wah. Okay. I'm going to ease this down a little. It was a little bit more rakish before when I thought it was going to be the console itself. But now I'm more of the belief that this is not going to be a usable, well, this will be some of a usable console here, but not a lot. So I'm going to move this forward to there. Okay, that's more like with, oh God, that'll like poke your eye out there. It'll poke your eye out, kid. Let's go ahead and pull that back. It doesn't need to be that dramatic. More like that. Okay. And also, not liking the fact that it's unbalanced. Like, let's make it straight over console here. Look at how unbalanced it is. It's like totally wee, not anywhere near. It doesn't need to be balanced to the right, but the console should at least be somewhat aligned with the front of the vessel, the front of your pilot house controls. These guys can probably be pulled back though. There we go. There we go. Make it so that you don't bonk your head sitting in the chair. I mean, you're going to have to duck to get in here anyway. I know that. That's sort of a given on this. Okay, let's then bring the bottom case down so that we at least know where the feet of this is. It will go, or however. Because like I said, she's still going to need control pedals for feet controls. Because there will be feet controls that control parts of the ship's operations and stuff. What I really should do is take a Genesis 2 maquette and put it in a seated position like this, and then export it and bring it in here. If I was smart, that's what I'd do. Do we think we're smart? And do we really? And do we really? Yep, we're smart. Because otherwise, this is going to be a stupid thing, and I'm going to hate my life, and I'm going to be very mad about doing this wrong. So, do not save. We'll close this because we are running memory problems and things like that. So, let's go ahead and close down Clip Studio before we do anything stupid like load Daz Studio. Spend a lot of time in studios. You notice that? All right. Okay, I'm going to move this over here so I can read it. Even with this, I'm still squinting. Let's see here. Genesis 2. Male. Genesis 2 male base. Okay. Right there. You'll notice that I'm doing something culturally awesome, like what cultures tend to do. I totally loaded a man for this chair. We know that we have a woman sitting in this chair the whole time, but I'm going to build it to a man because that's how we do these things. And you know that's what they're going to do. You know that's how it's going to be. Starship. Cheap at it. Already set up and rigged for a thing. Good job, me. Thank you, me. You're welcome, me. So, we already have a pose for him and everything. Put this like this. But what I will do is I will do front on this, bend this way, front, and bend, twist, so that we can get sort of an idea, twist, of what it will take for him to hit a switch above his head, right? It's going to be harder for her. She will be shorter, but we should front before we export this guy. There we go. Okay. Let me just have some random dude, right? Export. To here. To here. To here? Maybe. Dude in seat. Yeah, whatever. He might be really small when I try to load him into. All right. Let's see if we've got dude in seat here. Import. Wavefront. Resources, assets. All right, put him. Dude in seat. 666 sometimes. You. Where are you? Like I said, it's probably infinitely small. Dude in seat. Is dude in seat somewhere where I can find him? Nope. That is the wrong model to do that to. Really? There's no undo on this? Thank you. Oh my God, people. There. Yeah. Good heavens, how small is he? Seems like he's infinitely small. And maybe I'll just delete him. And we'll try it again, this time when I export him, because he's apparently way too small now. Export. Dude oin seat. You want to replace it? Yes, I do. So let's do Blender 1 unit equals 50 centimeters instead. So we will now do that. Now we'll come over here and we'll say import waveform object dude oin seat. There, a dude oin in seat. But he's here. Look at him. He is beautiful. Yeah, don't do that. Stop rotation. Dude oin seat. Rotate. 0 degrees. Perfect. Okay. Duded, we oined, you can close. Nope, that's close. Don't save that scene. All righty. I'll take him and we'll put him here. And the first thing I'm noticing First thing I'm noticing is that the frame is too big. Okay, that's fine. It's not a problem. All right, check it. Check it out. Now, edit mode. Let's take all of these pieces here and we'll put them here. Well, I'm going to make her put her legs forward more, so I'm not that worried, but yeah, let's do that. Fire trucks. Okay. This is good. This is good. Now we know he can reach that upper console. He can reach that forward console. From his point of view, his funky eyeballs, scary funky eyeballs. Give me the scary funky eyeballs. We should actually move him a little bit to the side. No. Although that's good, but that's not what we're doing. There. From the scary funky eyeballs, we're going to look and see where everything is. So, scary funky eyeballs can see that way. Definitely not going to have a problem seeing that way. Not going to have a problem forward in control. I also sort of feel like this console is smaller than I expected it to be, so it could be wider, and I'd be okay with that. So let's go on ahead and select that, select that. This console can be wider, as can this console up here. Let's do this. There. Right? Now I feel like we're getting somewhere. Play the scary funky eyeball. Move him here. Camera, nope. Genesis, nope. Cube. All right. Now, from the front, he has the ability to put his centroid of operation right in the middle of his chest. And now we can zoom in. Nope. Zoom in. Work on the cube. And let's go back to edit mode. And this is the section that I now want to move to right here, right? All right, move that to there. We've got roughly the same amount of console to the right as to the left. That way we can have mirrored controls if we need to, or controls that at least seem somewhat mirrored. So this is definitely going to bonk you in the head. So let's bring it up a little. I know we've got it sort of skewed here. So we'll bring that up a little too. And this we can bring down. It's in the back of your head. And down. And this just says, hey, don't hit your head. Hey. Oh, you hit your head. Stop hitting your head. It's not good. All right. So Click, click, click. Our Tudic panel up here. Kind of maybe want to move this in so that it matches the Tudic panel to some degree. This is kind of an opening that's feeling a little ergonomic there. And that'll look good from the other direction, because that's actually likely to be a thing you will see, is from this side with the captain standing here in front, looking out front and saying, hey, pilot, will you do X, Y, or Z? Pilot says, yes, Captain, I certainly can do X, Y, or Z, and does the aforementioned X, Y, or Z. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool. And I really kind of feel like our Genesis male dude needs to be tilted back just slightly. Kind of more like this as a seating position. His back matches a little bit more what's going on. Won't help our console stuff, but I still think we can reach everything from this point. But I feel like that's more like what the seating arrangement will be. This is important because we will need to do this for this setup. So let's go to edit mode and bring you forward to here. And there's a reason I'm doing this. I'm about to add to this so that we can set up for the chair. Yeah, that's the headrest. No, that's the open zone between the headrests. So this is the headrest here. And then here comes the back section. And this becomes the seat part right here. Yeah, like that. And then we can move this guy back to be the floor, if you will. 1, 2, 3, floor. 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, floor. There we go. And here will be the pedals, the forward control pedals for you to control exactly how to push the pedals to control the spacecraft when you need to get to that spot in life. Now what we will do is take, look how screwed up this is. Move this out so it's not so screwed up. It's like, well, you told me to do that. Yes, I did. I did. I feel like this console now protrudes quite a bit out the side. It's not quite as comfortably, not quite as comfortable a design as it was before. There we go. Less mess right here, you know? And now I look at this console pod and wonder whether this is. It should be more like this. Right? Because that control panel is not not as ergonomic as I want it to be. Now, let's go ahead and start doing this to kind of get an idea of where we're going with the chairs anyway. Okay, so now that's that way. We'll click here and here and here, and this becomes this section, which should come out to about where the body is, give or take, and then continue on across for the actual chair itself. And then where is it going? Does anybody know where these things are going? No, nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's just nobody knows. Okay, we're going to bring this down this way. We don't even know. We don't know what we're doing. I don't think we've ever really known what we're doing, though. I mean, to be fair. I feel kind of like we can do that, and that'll be fine. There. Now we're kind of dealing with a chair-ish, give or take. Chair-ish. Go like this, bring this down. Actually, that's what I think I will do, is I'll bring this all the way down and make this part of the body. Right here. Then we can take this guy and go up from here. And that should be the beginning of the chair in here. I'm going to make the chair separate and then just sit it in there. And the reason I'm going to make it separate is because I want a chair that fits a male and a chair that fits a female, and be able to slide it forward and slide it back if I need to for different people, depending on who's piloting it. But I need to have space for it, so we're going to be working kind of the space function here. All right. Now we got my cat butt here. I have to make sure we have space for the cat butt. And the idea is this is the locking mechanism that will hold the chair in. And maybe I'll move this entire piece back just a little bit. So now we know that will hold the command chair into place. That'll be useful. Now let's get ourselves the foot consoles. Oh yes, it has gone through his feet. What can we do? And the question really should be, am I going to leave the consoles or the feet console static? Because I mean, nobody's going to watch. I don't know. Will I ever have a moment where I'm going to need to close up on the character's feet as she pedals the pedally things to make the ship do the thingy? And I don't know. I'm not sure I want to mess with that. It's going to be a lot of extra texture work down there to make that work. I'm kind of I am waffling. We really haven't done a top-down analysis of this. But one thing I am noticing is wherever we are on this needs to go like that. It needs to go like this. All right, like that. We really haven't done much of a top-down analysis, and now that I look at it, this needs to be pulled in quite a bit more to make that feel comfortable. More like that. But with this top-down analysis, look at what we can start to see here. Like, how is this set up? Right? Kind of looking more like that. And you get a little bit more of a feel of how balanced things aren't. It's right. Like, kind of looking at this and like, There. Much more reasonably balanced. I've got yellow on my transmission. You guys may be losing me slightly here. There. Still feel kind of like this guy needs to kind of go this way, and this guy needs to kind of go this way. Kind of give that a little bit more of a feel like that. But now we've got quite a bit of this going the way it's supposed to. I also feel like this could go forward now. All right, last thing I kind of want to fix is this guy right here. Let's smooth him out. There we go. There. Look at that. Now it's starting to feel kind of like actual forward console. I think we probably could bend this middle section in a little. So let's give that a little bit of a push in like so. Just give it a little bit of a ergonomic feel to it. Right? Look at that. That's starting to look nice. Nope. Green. I actually think I just want you two. There. Just making the console, making the mesh so tight, you know, not tightening up that console too much. There we go. One thing we do not have is the joystick. Somebody pinged me just a second ago. Anyway, there is a discussion about the Bechdel test, which is a test for cardio work. All right. Okay. None of that is important to me. Well, I mean, it's all important to me. The Bechdel test is a test where if you have a show and it's a test for sort of equality here, because one of the problems that a lot of shows have is that women are used as sort of props in stories, and it was a lot more prominent, obviously, in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s. Women either were the housekeepers running around doing stuff, or if in any action show, they were always the prop. The man would come home to his martini and his girl, and that was the thing. So the Bechdel test asks whether the characters, whether in a show in its entirety, has characters, women, who have depth, dimension, or are they just props? And that's pretty much what the Bechdel test asks. But it's interesting how many shows fail the Bechdel test. Because for the Bechdel test to pass, you have to have two characters who are women who talk to each other about something other than men. That's it. It's a simple test. And somebody went through and analyzed Star Trek, and astonishingly, the only one that gets a 100% is 5th season of Voyager. Everything else gets like a 20% or a 15%. And it's so weird. Bellatrix Rising always passes the Bechdel test unless you have an episode where it's just Chang standing around doing nothing. But even then, so it's kind of still one of those things. But I was fascinated by that because I wouldn't have thought about that, but it's true. It's true. There we go. That probably will just hurt you a lot, so let's back that off. Not you. I find the Bechdel test to be a literally fascinating statement on our culture. But of course, this all started because somebody posted it on a Star Trek forum and then somebody else immediately posted why can't we just accept that shows are shows and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, this is just really more of a test to see whether we're actually being as inclusive as we say we are. Sometimes, frankly, we just aren't. We're just not as inclusive as we think we are. We want to be inclusive, and I know people want to be inclusive, but we're just not. And the Bechdel test is kind of one of the key elements that tells you, did you do the job that you were supposed to be doing to include? Women make up 50% of our population. So in theory, half your heroes need to be women, right? They don't need to be women, but they should be, right? In theory. So 40% of our population is minority. So in theory, 40% of all heroes on TV should be minorities. It's something to think about. And when you make characters and when you build characters, if you want to represent a standard, normal American world, you need to have 30% of them be, or 40% of your people need to be minorities, and 50% of them need to be white, or need to be female. So it's nothing more than just an interesting, see, you would select the wrong one. I can't take you places. It's just an interesting assessment of our culture, the way that we do things. But if you want representation, and representation is critical, it's very, very important that we at least pass the Bechdel test. And it cracks me up when we can't. Like, even Star Trek, as forward as Star Trek is, doesn't pass the Bechdel test, which is a simple test. Very, very simple. It's not even that hard. Not even that hard to pass it. I'm going to just move this back because I kind of feel like I have crashed my mesh into a mesh. What a mesh I've made. All right, we got to clear from the show here because I actually have a job to do. So we're going to clear from the show. I'm going to save this and be very concerned about the left side of it now, because I think I have done this mess. I'm totally clearing from my show. I'm doing it. Doing it, computer. Okay, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. I hope we'll have Pepper. Maybe we'll have Colton. Who knows? I have no idea what tomorrow's show is going to look like. Woo! It could be anything. But in the meantime, guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. And remember, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye-bye. Computer, good night.